Hey guys, welcome to our second online class. I hope that you guys enjoyed the first video about the study guide. I noticed that not many of you have turned it in, only about 20 of you, which is pretty alarming. So remember that it is due this Friday, and your attendance is what counts, or your grade and you completing the assignments counts towards your attendance. So if I don't get it by Friday, then you will be marked absent for the entire week. So keep that in mind. Let's look at our agenda for today. All right. So first was our welcome, our feedback after day one of remote learning. Okay, so I did say that I haven't gotten a lot of people turning in assignments. You must turn it in order to get credit for attendance and for your grades, so keep that in mind. I do want to show you how to submit it. I had a lot of people say that they did not know how to submit assignments, so here we go. I'm going to show you. So you're going to click on your teams, which is down here, and I have a couple different teams. So let's get into the Burley Science one. You're going to go to Files, or sorry, you're going to go to Assignments. So while we're in the Files tab, let me kind of show you what this looks like. The study guide right here, you need to download and save it on your computer before editing. All of these documents should say modified by Caitlin Burley, not by you. You need to download it. Let's go back and look at that. So you need to download it. So you can go ahead and click the button. You can right click and hit download or hit download up here. But all of these right here, if you're one of these people, it means that you uploaded your study guide under My Files and edited My Files. These are files that go for everyone. So you need to make sure that you are not uploading yours here and that you are downloading it. You are downloading it, saving it, and then re-uploading it. I will not count it if you upload it up here. So let's go into the Assignments tab. This is where you will be uploading it. And on your end, it's going to look a little bit different. You'll just click, if it decides that it wants to load, you'll just click this, and then you'll find the file on your computer and then upload it. Some of you have told me that you have struggled on Microsoft Word or Adobe Acrobat. I've had some people even turn in pictures of it. So whatever you need to do, but you need to be uploading it onto here. As I said, only 23 people have turned it in. So that's pretty alarming. All right, so let's go back to Files and try downloading this again so I can show you. All right, so see the first one is downloaded. So I'm going to open it. And now I'm in Microsoft Word, so it's a program that all computers have. If you don't have an active version, you can use one in email. So this person was editing my version. You see how it put their name on it. You need to, before you even edit it, I need you to file, save as, and then you might want to create a folder on your computer that says like remote learning, and then save it. So now it's going to be editing your document. Also, if you want to put your name, like so study guide dash your name, so I know it's yours. But you're going to be downloading it, saving it, and then editing it. So let's just say, period 1, whatever. And then I'm going to hit file, save as. I'm going to save it as the same thing as it was before. And then when I go back to Teams, I'm going to go to assignments. And then upload it under the study guide or whatever assignment it falls under. Does everybody understand that? You need to download it, save it, and then edit it and re-upload it. That way we don't run into you editing my files or the blank copies for people to download. So let's look at our agenda for the next step. Resources available to you. In the files section of Teams, you'll see something that says Burley Science Resources. That's this document right here. And it has all of our logins. So there's my YouTube channel, my website, the class codes for GIZMO, which you're going to need for this for today's lesson, Brain Pop, and then the Remind code. This won't be in there. I'm just using this as our agenda for today. So if you look at our website, on the homepage, I have put the science class resources links, the blank study guide link, and the blank distance time GIZMO link just in case. I've also put the links to the YouTube videos, which are the same lessons that you're either watching through Teams or through YouTube. So, and then it also tells you what's due this week. If you go to coursework, we're currently working on Unit 4, so I'm going to go to Unit 4. And then there's the blank study guide, the video again, my copy, written copy, and then some helpful videos as well. So you have all those resources available to you, and your own notes that we've taken throughout the year. All right, so let's get down to business with distance time graphs. I do want to show you a video just to kind of prep your mind for the GIZMO. You should have already downloaded it. You can print it, write on it, download it, edit it on the computer using Word or Adobe Acrobat, whatever works for you. But the first thing that we're going to do is kind of talk about what distance time graphs look like. Distance time graphs are a way to display what motion looks like, using a graph. So it kind of requires some background knowledge on X and Y axes. It requires background knowledge on understanding motion, which we've talked about. And remember, you can go to my website and watch this video as many times as you need to get a further understanding. So let's watch it together.
We also learned that average speed of the place. If we know two things, the distance that was traveled, the time that took to travel. We also looked at a couple of different examples where the distance and the time were given to us. It's the best one to know way. In fact, we can represent things. You remember from math that the gradient of the slope of the graph is calculated by looking at the y-axis and dividing it by the x-axis. If it fluctuates the y-axis, time across the x-axis, then that means that the slope or gradient is equal to the distance that's been traveled divided by the time it's traveled. And that means that.
Okay, so if you've ever done slope, it's rise, which is how high up it goes, over run, because we run horizontally. So it's distance, the rise for the run time. This is going to give us our rate or our speed.
The slope or gradient will be the same as the but the slope or gradient of the diagram is equal to. You can see then that this is really useful because it gives you a glass width of the picture because the steeper the gradient, the faster. But rather than trusting on that one, let's do a few calculations.
You might want to get a pen and paper with your notes to write this down in your science journal.
That is 5 meters. Now we need to look at the time that it took, which is half a second. So it's showing 5 meters in half a second. So that means that its average speed is 10 meters per second. Take the rest of the video, I want to pause here and the average speed of the green, purple, and the blue line.
All right, so we can do this. If we go to, I'm going to go to the annotate. Let's see how this goes. So remember, it's rise over run. Yeesh, bad handwriting. Rise over run. So my rise on this one is 4. Yeesh. My rise is 4. And my run is 1. We all know that, I'm not even going to try that anymore. 4 divided by 1 equals 4. So my speed would be 4 meters per second. Let's look at the purple line. So the purple line, or actually I want you to try it by yourself. So pause the video and then we can check it together. Okay, so my rise is 3.5. And my run is 1.75. .5 divided by 1.75 is 2. So my speed is 2 meters per second. That means I'm running 2 meters for every second. Now this one's a little bit trickier. My rise is 2, so my distance is 2, but excuse me, but my time it took me to get there, or just kidding, let me back up. My rise is not 2 because I'm not increasing at all. My slope is constant. So because I start at 2, there is no slope. So my rise is actually 0. Sorry about that, guys. My rise is 0 because I'm not going up. I'm not rising at all. So I moved 0 distance because the line is flat in 2.5 seconds. If you remember about dividing 0 by anything is 0. And that makes sense. If you look at this line, there was no movement increasing distance or decreasing distance. That means that that person was standing still. Does that make sense? So if the line is flat, it means that they are not moving at all. And if you take a look at these gradients, it makes sense that the steeper ones are going faster because they're covering more distance in less time. So let's see what she has to say about it.
Okay, let's get started. Green line, 4 meters, and the time that it took 1 second. So 4 divided by 1 4 meters per second. And again, it's just everybody. So the distance travel is 3.5 meters. And the time that it took is 1.5, another quarter, 1.75 seconds. 3.5 divided by 1.75 meters. And lastly, we've got the journey that's represented by the 2 times the frequency of the time, because the distance traveled is actually 0. So t at time equals 0, the person was standing at the distance, and then 2.5 seconds later, they're still standing. So the distance traveled is 0 meters, the time 2.5 seconds. So that speed is 0 meters per second. So through these calculations, we have confirmed that the steeper the gradient, the faster the speed. So just to review, the average speed of an object is calculated by the distance that we travel, the time that it travels. If you put that in a graph, the slope of the graph is equal to the average. You have to remember that as only the case of the y-axis, it's still as time is plotted on the x-axis. Graphs are really great because it's easy to compare these without having lots of calculations. Because intuitively you know that the larger the gradient, the greater the speed upwards or the faster. As always, there's a few examples you can do in a link below in the description section.
Okay, we're going to do our own practice. So remember that there's also some other videos that you guys can watch, but this one is 11 minutes long, but it definitely goes a little bit more into depth. So looking back, it's GIZMO time. We're going to do activities A and B together. You will do activity C solo up until the point that says challenge. My Cambridge students, you will do the challenge section. If you don't do the challenge section and you're in Cambridge, you will not get full credit. So let's dig into this. So I'm going to go to my my GIZMO page, and you guys will go to the login and enroll. If it decides that it's going to load. Okay, yay. Okay. And then you're going to enter your class code here. And remember, the class codes are in the resources document that's in files. So you need to create your own username and login unless you remember one that you've used before. If it doesn't work, then create a new one. So I already have a username. And I've already downloaded it. So I have it open right here to edit. Come on. Okay. So yours is already assigned to you. And it's, again, the link is in the folder. Remember, it's explorelearning.com, not gizmo.com. It's explorelearning.com. So you need to make sure that that's what you enter. And we're going on distance time lapse. So let's wait for this bad boy to load. In the meantime, let's go over here and make sure our name. I would prefer if you guys use a color other than red so that the red is shows that it's my copy, but don't use yellow. You can use blue, purple, anything like that, just not a dark color. All right, so while that's loading, let's do the prior knowledge questions together. Max ran 100 feet in 10 seconds. Molly ran 60 feet in 5 seconds. So let's calculate that together because it asks who ran farther, Max or Molly. I already know that Max ran 100 feet and Molly ran 60. We know that 100 is bigger than 60, so clearly Max ran further. Who ran faster though? So this is going to require our rise over run, our slope, our distance divided by time equation. So I know that Max ran 100 feet in 10 seconds, and Molly ran 60 feet in 5. So let's do Max first. Max ran 100 feet in 10 seconds. 100 divided by 10 is 10. So Max ran at a speed of 10 meters per second. Molly ran 60 feet in 5 seconds. Let's see if I can use this. 60 feet in 5 seconds. Which would mean, yeah, much better. Stylus. 60 divided by 5 is 12. So that's 12 meters per second. So who ran faster? Molly. And I know Molly ran faster because she is running 2 meters faster per second than Max. So we could say Molly ran 12 meters per second squared. Oops, meters per second, not meters per second squared. And Max ran 10. And we know that 12 is bigger than 10. So Molly was covering more distance in less time. All right. Now let's do our warm-up. Check that the number of points is 2. So the distance time graphs GIZMO shows a graph and a runner on a track. You can control the motion of the runner by manipulating the graph. So let's go back and open up our GIZMO. Loading, loading, loading. Okay. So our GIZMO says, check that the number of points is 2 and that under runner 1, both show graph and show animation are turned on. So let's double check that. Oops. Show graph, show animation, there's my runner. The amount of points is 2. We're good to go. We don't have a second runner, so we don't need to worry about that right now. Then it says the graph should look like the one shown to the right, 1 point at 0, 0, and the other at 4, 40. Remember, our X comes first in an ordered pair, so X, Y. Click the green start button on the stopwatch. What happens? So on your screen, I need you to do that, and you can watch it on my screen as well. So I'm going to hit the green button on the stopwatch, and you'll see that he is running forward. And by 4 seconds, he is at 40 meters. So that shows that my distance or my time was 4 seconds and my distance was 40 yards because it's telling me specifying in yards. So on my screen where it says what happens, I'm going to type the runner ran 40 yards in 4 seconds. And I also want to make sure I write moving forward. And I know that this particular person is moving forward because their distance is increasing. If they were moving backwards, their distance would be decreasing, going from 30 to 0 or 30 to 10. Click the red reset button on the stopwatch. The vertical green probe on the graph, that's this thing, allows you to see a snapshot of the runner at any point in time. Drag it back and forth. As you do, watch the runner and the stopwatch. So let's go back to our gizmo. I'm going to hit the red reset button, and you'll see my runner is back at the start. I'm going to move the probe, and the first question asks, what was the position of the runner at 1 second? So here I am at 1 second, and I can see the position of the runner, both on the graph and the runner itself is at 10 yards. What are the coordinates of the point on the graph that tells you this? So remember, coordinates are always x, y, so the x-axis comes first. So the points would be 1, 10, just like Battleship. When, so I'm asking at what time was the runner on the 30-yard line? I'm going to go back. So when were they at the 30-yard line? So I'm going to wait and, or I'm going to drag the green probe until I see the red line hit 30. So, and then I'm going to look at the time. And at 3 seconds, he's at the 30-yard line. So I'm going to write 3 seconds. And you want to make sure you're specifying yards or seconds because there is a difference between meters and yards and feet. What are the coordinates of the point on the graph that tells you this? Well, if I look, it says 3, x-axis, 30, y-axis. So my point is 3:30. All right, activity A, runner position. Click the red reset button on the stopwatch and make sure the number of points is 2. Number of points, 2. Oops. Okay. In the gizmo, use run the race many times with a variety of different graphs. The red points on the graph can be dragged vertically. Pay attention to what the graph tells you about the runner. So if a distance time graph contains the point 415, what does that tell you about the runner? And be specific, answering complete sentences. We are in 6th grade, we should be able to answer in complete sentences if it decides it wants to open. Let's see. Let's open up a new one. All right, well, it is currently not loading on my end due to having too many things open at one time, so be patient with me. For now, I want you guys to pay attention just to the coordinates here. Remember that if it is an x coordinate, it is talking about time. And if it's a y coordinate, it's talking about distance. So that would be my ordered pair. So the time would be x and the distance would be y. What this says, without even looking at the graph, is that it took the runner, or the runner ran was at 15 yards at 4 seconds, because my distance was 15 and the time it took him to get there was 4 seconds. All right, let's try opening it a different way. Oh no. Let's try that again. So I've got the runner the runner was at 15 yards at 4 seconds. Come on, computer. Or I could say it took the runner 4 seconds to get to 15 yards. All right. Look at the graph to the right. Notice where the green probe is. If you could see the runner and the stopwatch at this moment, what would you see? So here I am looking at the time. The time is about 1.5 seconds. It's right in between the 1 and the 2. And the distance is slightly above 20 at that point. So what I would see would be the runner would be at the 20-yard line. And he would be facing left. And the reason he would be facing left is because he's starting at the 20-yard line, but then he ends at the 16-yard line. So that means that he is decreasing distance. And if you're decreasing distance, it means you're running backwards. The runner would be running backwards, or backwards, and then I would also say the stopwatch would read 1.5 seconds. And that's talking about just at the specific point where the green probe is. So 1.5 seconds, 20 yards. And he's decreasing distance, so he's running backwards. Look at the image below from the gizmo. What must be true about this runner's graph? So if I look at the runner, he would have something called a positive slope, meaning that he is positively increasing distance. This one right here is a negative slope because I am decreasing distance. So I could say the runner, or the graph, would have a positive slope because the runner is moving forward. And it's also positive to move forward, right? We could also gather the information that at 3.5 seconds, he would be at 25 yards. How do I keep doing that? Parts. There we go. All right. The point on the graph that lies on the y-axis or the vertical axis is called the y-intercept. That means that it is intercepting, just like in football when you like catch, when you catch a ball that wasn't meant for you, you are getting in the way. So a y-intercept is where the line gets in the way of the y-axis. The y-intercept would tell you, and let's take a look at this one. The y-intercept is going to tell you where they start. So for example, here the y-intercept is 0 because that's where the line is intercepting or getting in the way of the y-axis. If I move this to 10, the y-intercept is, the y-intercept would be, oops, let's do this. The y-intercept would be 10 because he's starting at the 10-yard line. Similarly, if I wanted to make him start at the 40-yard line and then run backwards, the y-intercept will be 40 because that's where he's starting, right? That's the distance that at 0 seconds, he is at 40 yards. And then he will run backwards, back to 0 distance at 4 seconds. So if I go back to my GIZMO, I'm going to write the y-intercept tells us where the runner starts. All right. In the GIZMO, set the number of points to 3. Then create a graph of a runner who starts at the 20-yard line, runs to the 40-yard line, and then finishes at the 30-yard line. So let's do this step by step. All right. So I want to increase the amount of points to 3. And it said in my GIZMO, he's going to start at the 20-yard line. So that means my y-intercept needs to be 20 because at 0 seconds, he's at 20 yards. Then they want him to run to the 40-yard line. So he needs to have a positive slope. So take this point, it's going to be moving positive, going up. So he's going to be facing the 40-yard line because that's where he's headed. And then ends at the 30-yard line. So on your page, you're going to draw this graph. Let's do that together. Mine's going to be a little sloppier. Maybe. Let's try. So he starts at the 20, runs to the 40, and then ends at the 30. The y-intercept of my graph would be 20 because that's where I'm intercepting or getting in the way of the y-axis. Now let's go back and watch the video or the actual movement of the runner in this graph. So here he is starting at the 20-yard line. Running to the 40-yard line, turning around, and running backwards. Let's watch that again. So here he's moving forward because there's a positive slope. Then he turns to face backwards because there's a negative slope. So he's running back to the 30-yard line. Does that make sense? So if there's a positive slope, it means he's running forward. And if it's a negative slope, it means he's running backwards. So activity B. Run the GIZMO several times with different types of graphs. Remember, the red points on the graph can be dragged vertically. Pay attention to the speed and direction of the runner. Create a graph of the runner that is running forward from left to right in the GIZMO. If the runner is moving from left to right, how does the graph always look? So let's do this together. I'm going to hit my reset button, and I want him running forward. Oh, it happened again, guys. It won't open. These ones are ones that you can definitely do by yourself. So let's do this. Let's have you do activities B and C together. No, actually, let's have you do this. Let's edit our directions. So you're going to do activity A together with me, activity B solo, and then only Cambridge will do section C and the challenge section. It says that you need to take pictures with your camera. You can just write it on there. You don't need to take the pictures of the camera. So your job to do by yourself is activity B. You can use the video I showed you. You can use what we did together. You can replay this video as many times as you need, but you are doing activity B by yourself. And then Cambridge will do activity C. Does everybody get it? I apologize for a little bit of technical difficulties. My computer seems to be a little bit overwhelmed. I'll try to work this out. If you have any questions, let me know. Remember, all of your assignments are due on Friday. I will be grading them over the weekend and giving you your attendance for the week based off of the completion of the assignment. So even if you said hello on Microsoft Teams, I can't count that as attendance. I'm going to be counting whether you did your work or not. So don't forget to message me in the questions tab, which looks like this questions tab if you have questions. That way it doesn't cloud up the general tab. Try not to respond in the general tab because it'll be hard for people to find the videos. I will be uploading this video on my YouTube channel as well in case you can't find it. And it will also be on the website. Good luck, guys. Let me know if you need anything. I'm here to help, and I miss you.